In this video, we're going to go through how to calculate the interest paid or the interest earned using recurrence relations. Now, this is a concept that I've noticed a lot of students struggle with. I personally don't like how the textbook does things, so I'm going to show you a different kind of approach in this video. Now, I am assuming in this video that you've watched this entire playlist in order. For that reason, part A and B will be done very quickly. So for part A, we are just finding the recurrence relation. I've found my R value, and then I've just noticed I've forgotten to put a repayment amount for this loan. So let's just say that the repayment amount is $500 per month. So there we go, we have our recurrence relation. That's part A done. Now for part B, using the calculator trick, because I need to find the amount owing after 1 year, I've got to find A12. When I find A12, using the calculator trick, I get that value. Now, like I said before, I've looked at a couple of ways that the textbook does things. I don't personally like it. I think it can make it a little bit more confusing at times. So this is my approach. You can take it or leave it, but just remember this. The interest paid is just the amount that we still owe minus what we should owe. What I mean by what we should owe is if the banks were being nice and not charging us any interest. So in a perfect world, let's say the bank just gave us $25,000 and they didn't charge us any interest. We just had to pay off the loan, and we were paying off the loan $500 every month without any interest being added on. So the amount that we still owe is just A12. That's what we actually still owe, which I've now just substituted in. Now what we should owe, right, if we think about it, we've made 12 payments of $500. So if we weren't being charged any interest, what we should owe is just going to be 25,000 minus 12 times 500, which is 19,000. So just to recap, because I want to make this super clear, this value here is what we actually still owe. This value is what we should owe if there was no interest being added. So once I find the difference between those two values, I get about $1,658.59. And that amount there, what that represents is that's the extra interest that's been added onto the loan that's been paid. So that's the extra amount that the bank has made from us. Now we're just going to do another example, but instead of using a reducing balance loan, we're going to use an annuity. So in this situation, I've changed a couple of things. Instead of a loan, now we're investing, and we've got $10,000. It's still the same interest rate, and we're depositing $250 every month. So that means that we're going to have to use the second formula, the annuity formula. I've already just jumped straight to writing in the recurrence relation as well. And it's a 3-year investment. So because we're compounding monthly and it's 3 years, 3 times 12 is 36. So we need to find A36 in order to find the total amount that we're going to have in this investment situation after 3 years. And that happens to be 22,415. Now, that amount there, similar to before, that represents the amount that we actually have. So we don't owe it in this case, we have it. Also, I've noticed that I've written interest paid. That shouldn't say interest paid. That should say interest earned, because in this situation, we're investing. So we're earning the interest. We're not really paying the interest. So what we should have, right? If we had $10,000 and we were just depositing an extra $250 every single month and there was no interest being added on, that represents the amount that we should have without any interest. So I've just substituted what we currently have, and what we should have, like I just said before, it's just going to be 10,000 plus 250 times 36, because we've added $250 every single month for 3 years. So it's 10,000 plus 250 times by 36. So all up, we could say that the interest earned is going to be the difference between those two values, which ends up being $3,415.58. So what we've just found out is that in this investment situation, over 3 years, we've actually earned an extra $3,415.58 that we wouldn't have had if we didn't have interest added on to our investment.